Good morning. This episode of Outside Every Day with SOREEL is brought to you by Jackson Soil and Water Conservation District, helping you get outside every day. My name is Clint Nichols. I'm with Jackson Soil and Water Conservation District, and today I'm going to be talking about streamside forests and their importance. We also call these areas riparian areas, and a riparian area is that vegetation that grows right along a stream. So this is an activity that you can do in your neighborhood, or maybe even in your backyard if you have a stream that flows through your backyard. There are streams that flow through every community here in the Rogue Valley, and many of them we don't even realize. When we think of rivers and streams, we tend to think of things like the Rogue River, or maybe we think of Bear Creek, but there are a number of very small streams that flow through our communities and are very important for a number of different reasons. There are some of these streams people play in. A lot of these streams are fish bearing, and so fish like salmon and steelhead will swim up these streams to spawn and to raise their young. So making sure that we understand how to keep those areas healthy is very important. So our first location is Wagner Creek Park in Talent. This is right off of Rapp Road. This is a park that you could walk to if you live in the city of Talent. This stream is Wagner Creek. This is a very important fish-bearing stream. Salmon use this stream to spawn in. This is also a park, so kids can actually come and play in this stream here. As you can see, looks like kids have been making little log jams in here, which is pretty cool. So I want you to think a little bit about a hot summer day, and you're out maybe playing out on the soccer field or something like that. And then you go and you stand underneath a tree. So when you're out on that field, it's going to be really, really hot. But then you go underneath that tree, and the temperature is way lower. It's way cooler under that tree. So just like you, that stream feels that same difference. So as you can see, we have lots of really tall trees here, and those trees go way back away from the stream. So all of those trees shade this stream. And keep the water from receiving all of that solar energy and heating up. And the reason why that's important is because warm water holds less oxygen than cold water. And as we all know, living things still need to breathe, even fish. And so if you have water that is very low in oxygen, then aquatic animals like fish won't be able to breathe in that water. And so really warm streams won't be able to support fish life. So keeping an important stream like this cold and clear is very important to maintaining it as a good salmon spawning stream. So there's three major components that I look for when I am looking for healthy riparian areas. First of all, as I pointed out, a good canopy, lots of tall trees that filter out and block a good majority of the sunlight that's coming down through the canopy. The next thing that I look for is a good secondary or understory. And so there's a few smaller trees here that are growing up, and they will replace the trees that are big and tall right now. And then the third thing that I like to look for is a good herbaceous layer, and that's these grasses and these flowers that you see right along the bank. And that helps hold the soil in place to keep soil from eroding off the banks and washing into the stream. All right, so this next location is actually in Central Point. If you've ever been shopping at the Albertsons off of Pine Street, this is Mingus Creek. Believe it or not, there actually is a creek here. It flows right through the parking lot, and this is actually a tributary of Bear Creek. So unlike the last site that we looked at, you can see there's no trees, there's really no shrubs, and the sun is shining right down on the water's surface. And so kind of like what we talked about before, you can imagine what the temperature of the water is going to be like, and as the temperature increases, then the amount of oxygen that stream can hold is going to go down, and as it goes down, then it's going to be impossible for aquatic organisms to live in this section of the stream. So a section like this would essentially break the continuity from fish swimming upstream to find a location to spawn, they couldn't be able to get through this area because the water is too warm and there's no oxygen in the water for them to survive. Okay, so this location is Griffin Creek in West Central Point, sort of north side of Medford. This is on the trail from Flanagan Park. The trail is just up there. So if you go to Flanagan Park, it's off of Beale Road. You can actually walk to this section of the creek. So the thing I want to point out here, just like in the last location, you can see there's no trees, or very few trees. There's some trees in the background, but this section right here doesn't have any trees, and you can see the sunlight again can hit that water, raising the temperature of the water, decreasing the amount of oxygen that the water can hold for fish and other aquatic organisms. So one of the things that I want to point out here, while on this side we have a really nice cover of grasses and other small plants, the other side is dominated by blackberry. So blackberry is a very common plant that we find in a lot of riparian areas, and it's very aggressive. You know, the blackberries are probably pretty sweet to eat, especially in the summertime, but they tend to dominate our riparian areas like this. And the problem is that for as long as there is going to be this blackberry hedge along the stream, nothing else will grow here, because blackberry are so aggressive that they're very effective at taking all the nutrients out of the soil and all the water out of the soil so that no other trees or shrubs can get established. So you can see there's lots of blackberry here, lots of grasses on the side, but again, no shade for this creek. And you can see this blackberry hedge goes all the way back into there, and you can barely see the water. So in places like this, you know, the shrub layer, that blackberry layer, may cover the water a little bit, but it's never going to be as effective at blocking direct sunlight as a good canopy of trees would. That's it for today. Thanks for joining me today to learn about riparian areas. I hope you found it interesting. Tune in tomorrow for Outside Every Day, where you'll be learning a little bit about tracking, so that should be fun. So I want to remind everybody to, if you're out walking around in your neighborhood, or if you are sitting in your sit spot and journaling in your nature journal, if you happen to be near a riparian area, maybe include something about what you observe of the riparian areas in your neighborhood. Maybe record that in your nature journal. Think about it when you're sitting in your sit spot. And hope everybody has a good day.